It's left me blind.
Yeah, I'm here, super duper duper cut, all up in the mix like yeah, nigga, what up? Stay blaze like road.
So today we have a very exciting interview. We are interviewing one of our youngest entrepreneurs, a very successful businessman, 20 years old, and he's the founder and director of Yolk Media.
At first, it's actually like a really random thing. So it's just like Yolk Media, okay, let's run with that. But then, like, as I got asked the question more often, I thought about it, like, the yolk of the egg is actually like the energy of the egg. Like, it's the bright part, it's the yellow. Like, that's the thing that attracts most people. Like, would an egg taste the same without the yolk? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, the way I thought about it was, in the same way that the yolk is the energy of the egg, like, we can be the energy of another business's brand. And the thing is, like, if we can help, you know, wake up and make alive another brand, then we can actually change the world. And that's what Yolk Media is about.
That's powerful. Yeah. That's powerful. Tell us a bit about yourself and where you're from.
Okay, so like most, you know, entrepreneurs, like we all know, you know, I come from a disadvantaged background. I come from an area called Manenberg. And, you know, like most of the viewers as well, I've got what they call the entrepreneur's wound. So this is something in a child's, you know, growing up that affects his learning and his growth and all of that. And at a young age, when I was a teenager, my parents actually got divorced. And I think for me, that played a huge part in like what I wanted out of life, because I felt disadvantaged at the time. So for me, it was something like, it was almost like a push to say, okay, this is something that you're disadvantaged with now. So later in your life, you need to get way more than what other people have. And I think that was always, you know, one of the pushes for me that motivated me.
Wow, man, that's quite an inspiring story, you know, to have gone through a divorce at that young age.
Yeah.
And still, I mean, can I mention your age on the...
No, it's fine, it's fine.
To be 20 years old and run your own business, man, and like successful at that end, I mean, how does it make you feel?
The thing is with the whole divorce part, you know, like, I'm more close with my mother, I would say. And, you know, I grew up in Manenberg, like I mentioned previously, and the thing is, my mother was always motivated to get us to a better place in life, you know, a better area, better surroundings and all of that. And she knew that it was going to take a lot of hard work and perseverance and all of that. And the thing is, you know, she had a normal 9 to 5 job, and low paying. She was actually like a machinist, a network machinist. And I knew, like, I was a teenager at the time, so I knew that there was no way that this job could get us out of here. So the thing I saw was, I never really saw my mother at work, right? So after work, at 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock, that's where I saw the business side of everything. That's where I saw her, you know, buying bulk clothing, buying bulk shoes, and distributing it to people who can sell it, and making some extra cash which you would save and put away and put for us for later and all that. And that's the part I saw the most. I didn't see her working, I didn't see nothing, that's all I saw. And so I think as a child, you know, what you see the most is what you're going to learn the most. And this was something that I fell in love with. I fell in love with, you know, negotiating. I fell in love with making sales, making deals, being busy all the time, buying and selling and trading and all of that. And I think that was a big player for me in, you know, where I am now and how inspired I got with, you know, with entrepreneurship.
So in essence, it was the foundation that your mother built, but not knowing that you actually, as these things are happening, you're absorbing what she's doing.
Exactly.
Which is quite powerful.
Yeah.
So that's a foundation that was built for you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, being a young businessman, entrepreneur in South Africa, faced with many challenges. This guy that they with the same industries have made it. I mean, how does that make you feel? What are those challenges that you're faced with?
If you've got a passion for what you do, you're willing to put up with all the challenges, and eventually you'll overcome it. If you're strong, if you believe strongly enough in your brand and your person, then you can do whatever you want.
For you to be responsible for people that you employ, I mean, how to be a leader, how does that make you feel, and how do you deal with that from a day-to-day basis, where you leading people that are much older than you and younger than you in some cases?
I think you need to, you know, figure out what's more important to you and say that anything other than this doesn't matter. With entrepreneurship, you need to give it your full attention and time. So there's no way you can go a day and say, you know, I'm going to take a day off from entrepreneurship. I'm going to take a day off from my business. It doesn't work like that, because if opportunity knocks and no one opens, it will just go to the next door. And the thing is, if we miss that opportunity, we might just fail as a business, as a person, and then never ever get that chance again. And I don't think that's something I'm willing to do.
Entrepreneurship is like breathing,
Exactly.
You gotta keep breathing all the time, you gotta keep living.
Exactly.
So earlier answering the question, you touched on losing friends. And obviously for you to be where you are today, there were sacrifices made. So what is the biggest sacrifice you've made to date?
Oh, that's a big one. I think the biggest one would probably be, leaving varsity. Not so much for me, but more for the people who it affects, like my mother and the rest of my family. And I think because they depend on education so much, because they didn't have the privilege to, be able to go to the best school, the best varsity. So they're looking at it as you're at a good varsity, and you want to give that up. Like, why would you want to do something like that? And that's what made me feel bad, and that's what I had to, deal with every single day. But I had to, keep my head up and say that tomorrow I'm going to be working on something that might change the world. Being in a classroom with maybe 100, 200 other kids sitting on my phone because I'm bored, that's not going to change the world. So I think, as much as my family kept telling me, go to varsity, get good marks, all of that was not my passion. My passion was to create something, build something. And I think I was stuck in the cage that varsity, put me in. And unfortunately, that's what most parents believe nowadays, and there's no way we can get out of it unless we're brave enough to say, you know what, I know this is your vision, but this is my vision, and this is my life, and this is what I want to do. So this is what I'm gonna do. And I think for me, that was probably the biggest, risk that I ever had to take. Yeah.
There's also a fear element to that. We believe, without fear, there can't be courage.
Exactly.
It's a courageous step you took into your life.
Exactly, that's the thing, yeah.
So there must be a sense of fear in you quitting varsity. What are the emotions that you went through? How did it make you feel?
When you feel that sense of fear and anxiousness and oh my word, this feels weird, that's when something right is happening. That's when something's happening that's gonna make your tomorrow better than your today. And I think that's what people need to understand, and I need to let go of that fear, let go of the feeling saying, no, this is not gonna work out for you, don't do this, it doesn't feel right. Absolutely it doesn't feel right, but it's gonna help you. Trust me, it's gonna benefit you in your future. And whenever you feel uncomfortable with something, unsure about something, go for it 100%. And I think that's something that many, many people overlook, and they should do exactly the opposite.
Yeah, just so inspirational. The wisdom that you have and the experience at such a young age, such a powerful thing. And actually, as I'm sitting here, I'm really goosebumps. It's really, wow. Yeah. So what advice do you have for young entrepreneurs out there wanting to start their own businesses?
My advice would be get a pen and a paper. Think of a business idea, write it down on top of the page, and then what you do is determine who your target market is. Write down a few leads, go to country, go to the businesses, maybe people mowing lawn and you want to sell them a service and help them grow. Write down these guys' numbers, set your alarm for 8 o'clock the next day, wake up and start calling people, sell yourself and sell your service. And the way it works is that when you get out there, you'll get feedback. Because when you're holding back, you get no feedback. You just get the sense of nervousness. Oh my word, should I start now? The question is always, should I start now? Is this the right time? The thing is, there's never ever a right time. Right now is always the best time to do it. And I think, when you're most scared to jump, that's when you should jump. Get field experience, get on the ground experience. Put yourself out there. Make some sales, make some connections, do some networking. And then you can answer those questions do you know what it's about? Yes, I've been meeting a few people, I know what it's about now. And maybe it's not something you want to do, but you wouldn't know if you haven't tried it. And I think that's the thing most of us make the mistake with, is that we're too scared to go out there, but then we also too comfortable in saying that, oh no, this is not for me. Because the thing is, that's very, very wrong, because we haven't been there yet, so we wouldn't be able to say, this isn't for me.